Tappei has just released Arc 7 Chapter 12. This will be a summary for that episode, and I highly recommend you check out my Arc 7 Chapter 11 summary before starting. Anyways, let's get started. The chapter starts with Suburu feeling like he's in a whirlpool. Suburu is tumbling around. The scene changes and we see the camp. The tent with the red flag is for healing. The tent with the white flag is for officers. The tent with the black flag is for stockpiling equipment, and the tent with the golden flag was for the commander. Since Suburu had been at the camp, he had the chances of getting to know the area. In fact, it's the second time he's been at an encampment. The first one was the encampment formed when Suburu was fighting the White Whale, although that was much smaller in scope. Suburu can hear people talking, a man and a woman. They're talking about launching a counterattack, and Suburu hears a large yell coming from a crowd. Suburu feels a damp cloth pressed onto him. He thinks about waterboarding, a torture technique, and wonders what's happening to him. Utakata, the 10-year-old girl, noticed that Suburu was awake. It seemed that Suburu did not die after the last chapter. He was being healed by the Shudrak people. Suburu also remembers that the young girl was the one that killed him with the poisoned arrow last loop, but now she's friendly, so he didn't expect to randomly get sniped by her. Utakata confirms that Suburu passed the blood life ritual, defeating the El Genome beast, but Subaru's memories were hazy. Suburu wondered why his right hand was wet, so he looked at his left hand and saw the 3 broken fingers. Then he looked at the right hand and he was shocked. His right hand looked like something out of an alien movie. Suburu thinks back to Arc 5 in Pre-Stellar when Capella dripped her cursed dragon blood onto him. It didn't have any negative effects, but his arm did get these black marks on it, and now his right hand was actually black and felt rubbery. Suburu heard a voice and it was Abel. Suburu was of course surprised that he's alive, and Abel confirms that of course I'm alive. Suburu thought that the only reason that he survived was due to Abel's involvement, and Abel tells Suburu to sort out his right hand. Suburu retorts that he can't change his right hand's colour like an RPG character creation screen. Abel explains that the explosion when Suburu attacked the snake blew off his right wrist, and Abel got Subaru's dying words. But then this black gunk spewed out of Subaru's right arm, and then it formed the alien looking hand we see now. Suburu knows that he was infected with the cursed dragon blood 3 months ago. Suburu had also died many times in the Petelguese watchtower, and never once did his wounds heal, so why did it happen now? He thinks that since his right hand held the black pattern, and of course his right hand was blown off, since it was the only wounded area, it healed. Suburu realizes since he was recovering that time had been flowing, which means more time that Rem was left alone in the camp. Suburu needs to save Rem, and he jumps off the weird recovering bed he's on, and of course to the dismay of the people around him, he states that regardless of what happens to him, he needs to save Rem. Utakata and Suburu follow Abel upon a cliff face, and we see that they are overlooking the Imperial encampment, which is burning in flames. Suburu could see a large group of women chanting battle cries as they carried bows on their backs. Suburu could see the Shudrak people launching arrows into hearts of the running Vollachian guards. Suburu wonders how many people escaped or how many people died. Abel corrects him. This is something that Suburu wished for with his information. If Suburu doesn't laugh at this result, then what is there to laugh at? Abel smacked reality into Suburu with words, but Suburu didn't want this. He grabbed Abel by the chest with his cursed dragon hand, saying, "You think I wanted this?" Abel once again hit Suburu with the words of reality. "You think your dream would have come true without bloodshed?" Abel again confirmed that Suburu has silly heroic ideals, and that Suburu isn't a superhero or a wise man. By the way, quick editor's note, the word wise man can mean sage, so since it isn't properly translated, I don't know if Abel is calling Suburu a hero or a sage, but essentially Abel is saying that Suburu is neither a sage or a hero. Suburu didn't know what to think. Abel was right. Suburu was a Japanese school student with the ethics of Japan, so he couldn't really relate to the ethics of Vollachia. He said how he could take someone who covers his face seriously, and in response Abel removes his rag. As the rag flies away in the wind, Abel questions where it would land. Will it land in the imperial capital, where the throne is, where he rightfully belongs? The man was beautiful. He was in his mid-20s. He had black hair and black eyes. That alone was enough to dominate Suburu. Suburu felt like the man exerted pure dominance. Abel stated that his name was Vincent Abelux, at least until he reclaims the throne. Until then, he would be called by Abel. By the way, I literally uploaded the Masked Man theory today. I highly recommend you check it out to see the evidence that was pointing at the Masked Man being Vincent. Zelda approached Abel and Suburu and commented that Abel was attractive without his mask, but she essentially gave an update that they essentially won the fight. Zelda called to a girl called Holly to bring Rem over. Rem was okay, but she was resisting, saying, "Let me go." Suburu was happy to see Rem. Suburu made his way back to Rem, but she hit Suburu on the cheek. Zelda states that Suburu is close to death, and now that Rem has been saved, Subaru's mental fortitude, which was carrying him along, will wear off. Medical treatment wasn't enough for Subaru's wounds, but the people of Shadrak carry out a song, a requiem for Subaru's dying wish, and to respect his death. Rem couldn't believe what she was hearing. Why was Suburu doing this for her? She started crying after hearing that Suburu was dying, and wanted to know why Suburu was doing this. Suburu replied so that Rem would be happy, so that she would smile and be surrounded by the people that love her. As Suburu died, the Shadrak people did their ritual where they sang about his death. And of course, Rem couldn't believe this. A blonde girl approached Rem and put her palm on Rem's shoulder, and then Rem channels this energy and it heals Subaru's body. Abel states that this is healing magic, and Rem tries to respond, but Abel shuts her down, telling her to focus and be quiet, because if she lost focus, the healing power would be lost. Rem healed Subaru's fatal wound, and then Vincent told Rem to heal the broken fingers. Vincent wonders if Suburu planned to survive, and thinks that surely it's some chance and that all of this occurred, and that Suburu had no real plan to survive. Either way, he ponders to himself, stating that the Chancellor turned against him and he needs to reclaim the throne. Abel turns to Suburu, stating that, "You've survived long enough, Natsuki Subaru. You will come with me to reclaim the throne in Vollachia." There's also an author's note by Tappei stating that this is where Arc 7 truly begins, so it seems like it took 12 chapters for the foundations to be set, and that is the end of the chapter. So my thoughts on the chapter: I'm glad we got confirmation that Abel is Vincent. What's really interesting is how Lewis touched Rem's shoulder and she could use healing magic. I'm not sure if this confirms the theory that Rem's memories may be inside Lewis. I'm not sure, but maybe there's a reason why Lewis is helping Rem heal Suburu. Anyways, we also got confirmation that there is a coup in Vollachia and the Chancellor has turned on Vincent. And we'll see where this goes anyway, but hopefully you guys enjoyed that summary, and I'll see you guys next time, and thank you to my channel members. Lewis Stewart, Sayalid, Alternative Xenia 15, Miss Mew Mew, Is Your Boy 69, Nutrags, OMW, Blue Portal, Bra Moment, and Worst Ness.